Welcome to Alfred's Wisdom, where today we explore City of Glass, the third volume in Cassandra Clare's The Mortal Instruments series. In the video, the narrator invites the audience to embark on an adventure filled with action, mystery, and supernatural twists, promising to reveal how Clary Fray and her allies face deadly dangers to save Jocelyn and protect the fate of the Shadowhunters. It all begins at the New York Institute, just before dawn. The pale light flooding the hall reveals ancient runes carved into the stone walls, and it's there that Clary Fray, hands trembling, grips her dagger as she watches the runic portals glow in blue and silver. Each symbol pulses in sync with her racing heart, mirroring her fear of losing her mother and her determination to save her. Jace Herondale, clad in full armor, walks with measured steps, torn between his duty to protect the Institute and the fear that his bond with Clary will lead to his downfall. On the periphery of this inner conflict, Magnus Bane, the enchanting warlock, stands near the portal, his silent presence heightening the tension in the air. Clary takes a deep breath, inhaling the metallic scent of concentrated magic as the deadly mist, the lethal Brume, begins to creep across the floor. The moment demands unity. Clary and Jace's eyes meet, hearts and wills aligned, ready to break through any barrier and confront Valentine Morgenstern, the most feared Shadowhunter of all time. Suddenly, a cavernous howl shatters the silence as the Brume floods the hall, turning former defenders into monstrous Forsaken. Shadowhunters who once fought beside Clary now advance with hollow eyes and razor-sharp claws, their blades stained with silver and steel. Amid the chaos, Jace strikes with furious blows, each thrust a cry against the corruption that consumed his brethren. Alec Lightwood fires enchanted arrows that explode in icy sparks, while Isabel delivers graceful, deadly strikes with her seraph whip. The battlefield bears witness to painful falls. Madeline, Clary's seasoned mentor, is caught off guard by a treacherous attack, and Simon, her loyal friend, feels the blade tear through his flesh as he shields the youngest. The roar of spells and the clang of metal against stone echo like muffled thunder. Just as the defensive line threatens to crumble, Magnus emerges, slipping from the shadows with a freshly conjured arcane portal. Their desperate quest for salvation gains a glimmer of hope. The portal's luminous energy opens a path to Idris, the land of refuge. Clary, bloodied and exhausted, still musters the strength to lean on Jace, while Alec and Isabel carry Madeline and Simon through the shimmering vortex. The blood-stained stones of New York fade behind them in a moment of relief, as fleeting as it is harrowing. Crossing the portal means stepping into a new world. Idris, with its towering mountain peaks and gleaming glass spires, rises beneath a sky painted amber by dusk. As they emerge in Alicante, the sacred capital of the Shadowhunters, Clary is overcome with a mix of awe and reverence. The enchanted walls, built to ward off demonic creatures, encircle the city like a protective embrace. Guards patrol the polished stone streets, eyes sharp for any sign of the Brume. Amid this sublime atmosphere, Jace Herondale, Jace's distant aunt, steps forward to greet them. Inside a modest home, Jace unveils startling truths. She was once married to Stephen Herondale, Jace's father, and witnessed the tragic intertwining of his fate with Valentine Morgenstern's. Before Clary, Jace recounts Valentine's plan to rewrite the very nature of the Nephilim. Using corrupted angelic relics and demonic magic, Valentine aims to create obedient hybrids, stripped of free will, and forged into living weapons. The revelation strikes Clary with devastating force. Saving Jocelyn is not enough. She must prevent the complete distortion of their kind, defend the legacy of the ancients, and preserve the Shadowhunters' freedom of choice. Guided by fearful hope, Clary sets off to find her mother. In a secluded room hidden behind ancient bookshelves, she finally discovers her, Jocelyn, awakening from an induced coma. Spellbooks with worn-out covers and potion vials line time-worn tables. Weak but resolute, Jocelyn reveals secrets that change everything. She was Valentine's wife and the mother of Jonathan Christopher, now known as Sebastian. The realization that her brother was conceived as a demonic experiment sends Clary's heart racing. Jocelyn explains how, fearing for Clary's future and revolted by Valentine's plans, she drank a potion crafted by Magnus that plunged her into a deep slumber. Pregnant with Clary, she abandoned everything to protect her daughter, hiding away with a secret she'd only unveil when the time was right. Clary listens in disbelief, weighed down by the enormity of such sacrifice and a truth that redefines her very identity. Meanwhile, in the Clave's Grand Hall, counselors gather for a heated debate. Statues of angels in white stone seem to watch their every move, and stained glass windows cast the room in a kaleidoscope of muted light. Institute leaders argue whether to resist Valentine's advance or surrender to fear fear of annihilation. The tension explodes when an arcane projection reveals the villain's calm face, accusing the clave of hypocrisy and declaring the start of his ritual of ascension. At the height of the shock, Sebastian, once trusted as an ally, commits a silent betrayal. He steals the mortal cup and angelic artifacts from guarded chambers, delivering them straight to Valentine. Chaos erupts in the assembly, trust shatters, and the threat shifts from possibility to something imminent and tangible. Soon after, the deep boom of war drums echoes through the halls of Alicante, heralding the dark sacrifice to be consummated beneath the crystal arches of the Hall of Angels. Francis Spade, under Valentine's influence, summons the Mortal Brume within a circle of blazing candles. Shadows dance along the walls as the mist creeps toward the Shadowhunters' feet, twisting them into mute, obedient thralls of demonic power. Time screams for action, and Clary, driven by faith and creativity, uncovers ancient tunnels beneath the city. With a stroke of pure intent, she draws a new rune, one that disrupts the ritual and shatters the corrupt magic. The mortal cup is reclaimed, the spell collapses, and the broom dissipates, consuming Francis in a fatal twist of irony. Clary's daring proves that courage and ingenuity can overcome even the darkest forces. Meanwhile, in the damp tunnels below Alicante, Jace and Sebastian wage the war's most visceral duel. Torchlight barely pierces the gloom, and the scent of whetstone mingles with the metallic tang of blood. Sebastian seeks to break Jace with emotional torment, taunting him about the bond they once shared. But Jace, wounded yet unyielding, stands firm, anchored by loyalty to his friends and the love he bears for Clary. In a daring strike, Jace targets not Sebastian's body, but the amulet fueling the Mortal Brume. Shattering it, he collapses the ritual, draining Sebastian's power. The sound of the artifact breaking echoes like a muffled thunderclap through the tunnels, and the villain falls defeated, his eyes finally flickering with a glimmer of humanity. In the final act, Clary discovers a leather-bound journal, once owned by Valentine. As she flips through its cold pages, she uncovers the truth about Jace. He is neither Valentine's biological son nor her blood brother, but the rightful heir to the Herondale lineage. The love between Clary and Jace is no longer forbidden. No shared blood ties stand in their way. The revelation frees them from the weight of non-existent guilt, offering the chance to claim an authentic future. At last, atop the clock tower of Alicante, Clary and Jace steal a fleeting moment of peace. Bathed in moonlight, glinting off the glass spires, they exist without secrets or fear. Their kiss is not a farewell, but a vow. Together, they'll write the next chapter of their lives, unshackled from the past shadows and guided by hope, reborn from the ashes of war. And so ends this episode of Alfred's Wisdom on City of Glass, a tale of courage, sacrifice, and love that defies the Mortal Brume's darkness, leaving the audience with an invitation to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more literary adventures.